Hello, hello, and welcome back to Radio Gaga, mixtape for the end of humanity. Here we are in beautiful Grand Canyon National Park. I'd like to read an excerpt for you about how the American spirit was used to excuse climate change. Are you ready to get started? Inside the courtroom, Katinka Iga Nagovanova flops her black leather briefcase on the defendant's table with a loud thud. She scans the room, snarling, to ensure that all come to heel before her ferocity. Whispers spread among the audience. Isn't she the former ballerina who blackmailed Putin's third in charge? Katinka's slender, toned frame is full of sharp angles. Cheeks, chin, elbows, and knees threaten to slice any who dare come too close. After running amok with too many married Russian oligarchs, she defected to the United States with a small fortune and a collection of Fabergé eggs. She realized that her viciousness would work well as a lawyer. She gained fame for her savage, winning defense of Big Oil. Big Oil was the name given to some of humanity's most profitable corporations. These slurped up the fossil residue of zooplankton and algae that had undergone centuries of intense heat and pressure to become a sludge that fueled cars and machinery. Humans grew to consume more than 95 billion barrels of this sludge daily. A side effect of this consumption was that when the fuel burned, it produced a gas, carbon dioxide, which filled Earth's atmosphere and trapped in heat, which the planet would have otherwise expelled. The Attorneys General of California, Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, New York, and Hawaii cooperated to hold some entity responsible for their disappearing coasts. Florida had lost its keys. North Carolina's Outer Banks had sunk underwater. The beautiful beaches behind California mansions disappeared along with $1 billion in property value. The attorneys general claimed the largest oil companies had overwhelmingly contributed to the gas emissions, which caused the surface to warm like a greenhouse. This melted glaciers and caused the planet's sea levels to rise. The states were seeking damages for the displacement of 100,000 Americans, the destruction of coastal towns, and the cost of 12 million sandbags. The states had a good case since these companies had not only known about the risk of global warming, but had secretly funded research to discredit it. Political organizations, fronts for the energy industry, popped up and pumped in millions of dollars to dilute greenhouse gas emissions, but only as a perceived threat. Most had written Big Oil off. There was an expectation that they would lose the case and be forced to pay a multi-billion, if not a multi-trillion-dollar settlement. Katinka was a lowly associate at the firm of Cox, Dix, and Aspoles when the case was thrown her way. The partners luxuriated in the wealth these clients pumped in, but kicked the responsibility to Katinka and her paralegal minions. Under her supervision, the oil company engineer turned whistleblower, Linda Salzberg, vanished. And along with her, the proof of industry-wide collusion evaporated. Every commuter that had copies of her documents, from the FBI to a dozen newspapers, were infected with the Matryoshka virus. The virus nested Salzberg's findings in 8 layers of encryption. When the last layer was finally cracked, the files were gone. The other states' witnesses quickly recanted their testimonies and went into hiding. Katinka would have remained a shadowy background figure had the final statements not been aired live. Katinka's jet black hair and black lipstick popped on her pale white skin. This haunting figure exuded control, uttering what speech and debate students would fumble through for decades to come. The thrilling climax of her closing statement invoked the quintessence of the American spirit, the need to explore and conquer. The states gave us the highways. The states asked us to populate the land with cars. The states constructed the suburbs and the exurbs, the megalopolises and the ultra-megalopolises. The state stripped the railroads and the trolleys, leaving us no choice but to drive. And drive we did. We were told to travel each and every highway, but much more than this, we were told to do it our way. The states encourage our American thirst for individualism and adventure. Should my clients be blamed for providing the power to make these dreams come true? The states connected highways from the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart. It's time we stand and say, I am proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. A wave of jingoism overwhelmed the jury and washed away all reason. They unanimously sided with Katinka and Big Oil. After the print dried and the headlines lost their clicks, Linda Salzberg's body surfaced in the La Brea tar pits. She had been petrified to perfection. Not a single thread of her discount Kmart clothes had been damaged. Though her family had asked the coroners not to release the cause of death, one officer squealed a damning fact. Salzberg had choked to death on a Fabergé egg. And that is a selection of Radio Gaga, a mixtape for the end of humanity, read here in beautiful Grand Canyon National Park. Okay, bye.